Cultivating the goodwill and friendship of countries like Netherlands gives you an added advantage, an edge, as it were, in actually going into the Security Council as the preferred candidate for a permanent position in Africa. The Netherlands, as I said, is a very key member of the European Union, and already there is the EU-Africa partnership in terms of harmonizing policy at the multilateral level and also bilaterally with African countries. So Nigeria, leveraging the friendship and goodwill of Netherlands, will contribute to the effective recognition of our bid, of our candidature to the Security Council. And I think it's very good to, as I said earlier, the visit by Mr. President is to show statesmanship, to show maturity, that we have arrived and we are on top of situations. And this idea conveys confidence in our country as a very responsible member state of the international community, whereby when we go into the Security Council as a permanent member, the world can rely on us to make rational choices and to contribute effectively to the maintenance of international peace and security, to contribute to international sustainable development, to contribute to democratization of the world, and respecting of human rights and promotion of human rights. These are the essential purposes of the United Nations. So advancing the UN Charter is done by member states. And countries like Nigeria, with increasing capacity regionally and globally, will be very important in coming on board into the Security Council. So with this visit, there is no reason why the Netherlands should not actually respond favorably to any claim by Nigeria, excuse me, to be recognized as a candidate, a viable, effective, logical candidate into the Security Council. So this is an added, it's a step forward. And with the Netherlands, other countries like Spain, Germany, and others will come on board to recognize Nigeria's claim. As to the first remark in terms of the potentials of doing business in Nigeria and investment and why can't we cultivate our own domestic and diaspora, it's very important for us to realize, as Dr. Adesua said, that investments they create momentum in the economy. It doesn't matter where they come from, whether they are domestic or diaspora or actually foreign investment. But the key is, what do you do with the investments? Where will the investment be directed? Do you have the capacity to absorb the investments? What are your policies to attract investments? When we deal with the Netherlands, for instance, have we thought about the capacity of our banking sector? They have very strong, well-recognized, globally recognized banking institutions in the Netherlands. Are our banks up to the task in terms of supporting and creating opportunities for financial flows into the country? Is there transparency? Is there competence? Is there security in our banking system? So these are the questions that we have to ask when dealing with countries like Netherlands. And they are going to ask the same question. They will do forensic examination and studies of our banks. Without the banks, there can be no investments because you have to move capital from one part of the world to the other, and you have to account for it. With this idea of money laundering and other things or other concerns about foiling of terrorism and so forth, countries that move money from one point to the other are very concerned about the safety, the security, and the end target or the end results of the money they are moving. So it's very important for us to show capacity, to show seriousness and discipline and organization in dealing with foreign countries for them to be comfortable with us. The Nigerian diaspora, they are also concerned about their money, their investment. When their money comes into Nigeria, they expect, number one, for that money to be secure, and where they invest it to generate returns for them. So the federal government and the state governments must now institute policies and programs that will secure the investment space in the country. And it's very important, as I said earlier, for regulatory agencies to be up to scratch in terms of conveying a sense of purpose and seriousness to the world. So the organization of the government and institutions are very critical. Now, the other aspect, finally, I think what Dr. Adeshua raised about agriculture is very important. Only 2% of the Netherlands population is engaged in agriculture. But they are today the world's #1 producer after America. And they export to the whole world, just 2% of their country. Why? Because of science and technology. Their research institutions churn out ideas, and their government and companies practicalize those ideas. So mechanization, injection of science and technology into agriculture has reduced even the role of human beings in production. So when we look at the Netherlands today, we should now actually seek for competencies whereby our research institutions can be upgraded. Some of them are still working with facilities of the 1960s and 70s. How go to VOM, the Animal Veterinary Research Institute today, is a shadow of its former self. Go to NAPRI in Shika or Sama Rosaria, it's a shadow of its former self. Go to all the research institutions in the country today. NTA, I think, should do a survey of the research institutions, of the science and technology institutions, for you to really tell Nigerians what is the state of their capacities and capabilities today. Do they have the required resources to really do research and transform the economy, whether in agriculture or industry or anywhere? They don't. They need capital, they need modern equipments, they need training, they need laboratories, they need facilities and everything. Talk to them, go to them and see what they have. So the Netherlands, when they come in, they are not going to now just bring money and go back. They want to engage with institutions. And where are those institutions? What are they? What are their capacities? So if very recently, the Borno State Governor, His Excellency Professor Babagana Marazulu, met with Mr. President to highlight the importance of the South Chad irrigation scheme, for instance, to the President. The South Chad irrigation scheme has over 200,000 hectares of land where you can produce virtually everything there. But the problem is access to water. So the recharging of Lake Chad should be one of the priorities when we discuss with the Netherlands and the European Union to support the federal government's objective of recharging Lake Chad from internal waterways in order to make the South Chad irrigation scheme viable. And the control of floods in central Nigeria and southeastern Nigeria is very critical, because when floods come, they are now, because of climate change, happening every year. If you don't control them, economic productivity, farming and everything will be adversely affected. So when we speak with the Netherlands, we take a look at the country. Where are we going to establish projects? Where are we going to prioritize programs and so forth? So to my mind, the South Chad project, the flood control in central and southeastern Nigeria are very critical. And we should look at that as part of the physical objectives that we can undertake.
Thank you very much.